Today's conversation will talk about the Navy Federal Platinum, and I want to share with you some approval hacks that will get you a massive limit immediately. Okay, so when you apply those hacks, you are going to get a high limit and immediately. That's very important. High limit and immediately. Don't you go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweaty Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka. Now let's roll. In today's conversation, we want to have a clear idea about how to get a high limit immediately on the Navy Fed Platinum credit card. This is very important, okay? But before I actually give you the hacks, I want you to have an idea about this card. So what is this card about? Well, the card has no annual fee. So I want to show, so this is the kind of card you use for their intro 0% APR. Okay, so they have a great APR on balance transfers. Okay, this is really good. So here are the pros and cons. So when you think about this card, I want you to think about this pros. No annual fee, no balance transfer fees, no foreign transaction fees, and you have low ongoing interest rates. Here are the cons. No promotional interest rate on purchases, no rewards program, and the thing is, you can find longer promotional APR periods available. So one thing I want to say here, when we talk about this card, they have a 0% intro APR on balance transfers for 12 months. And after that, you have a standard variable APR that goes from 8.24% to 18%. Okay, so this is a decent card if you want to think about it. One thing we love about this card is that this is the kind of card you can have if you are looking for, let's say, a mid-tier card. Okay, you're trying to transfer balances from a high interest credit card to this card. Remember, there is no intro APR on the purchases. This is very important. Okay, and but the card does not earn rewards. If you're interested in having rewards, this is not the card you want to go for. Okay, the card is kind of decent. It has a collision damage waiver. You have travel and emergency assistance. You have cell phone protection. Okay, so you have the ability to freeze and unfreeze your account. So based on our analysis, this is the card you want to get if you, let's say, if you have a fair credit or bad credit and you're trying to, gradually build your credit and you're trying to actually get it back into the NFCU fold. This is the card you want to have. But if you have excellent credit, if you have, let's say, stellar credit, this is definitely the card. This is not the card you want to go for. Okay, Navy Fed has other higher tier card in their umbrella, in their catalog, that you might be interested in. So this card is for those of you who have a low or fair score, credit score that is, or you have low income. So let's first talk about the hacks that get you a massive limit immediately. So the first thing is your NFCU recency. In other words, how long have you been a member of the institution? This is really important. A lot of folks, some folks, at least what we have seen, is that they were so impatient. They just get approved for a membership in Navy Fed, and all of a sudden they want to get all the benefits right away. And we always say this: hold your horses, son. Hold your horses, daughter. I want you to take the time to know what's happening in FCU. When you become a member, take the time to learn the institution. I want you to take the time to beef up your relationship with the institution. This is important. A lot of folks are so impatient, and this is something that is really bad. So if you are trying to have a massive limit immediately, and you happen to be in the bad or fair credit bandwidth, you really want to take the time. You want to open a savings account. You want to open a checking account. Okay, so when we talk about beefing up your relationship with NFCU, that's what we're talking about. You want to make sure that you avoid any overdrafts during that period and afterwards anyway. That's important. And you also want to make sure that you have a direct deposit if you can. Okay, so if you are trying to get a massive limit immediately, you cannot have less than 3 to 6 months Navy Fed membership. Again, this applies only if you have bad or fair credit. If you have stellar credit, it doesn't matter. You can actually get approved today and apply for a credit card. Not a problem, okay? If you have, I would say, a decent or reasonable net worth, this is also applicable to you. So just make sure that your last interaction with Navy Fed credit products is not less than 6 months. What I'm trying to say is that make sure that in the last 3 to 6 months, you have not applied for any other credit product from Navy Fed, be it a loan, be it a line of credit, be it a home equity line of credit, be it a student loan, be it a credit card, okay? So what I'm trying to say here is you want to space out your credit card application. So when you apply for this Navy Federal Platinum card, you boost your chances of approval, okay? And make sure that you also have a lot of sufficient credit history with Navy Fed. So here are some pro tips for you. Pro tips: when you join Navy Fed, wait for the first 3 to 6 months, trying to beef up your relationship with them, your banking relationship with them through that period. And after 3 to 6 months, you can apply for this credit card or any other credit card. The second thing, son, I want you to think about right now, I want you to pay attention. I want you to pay attention to your cash inflows. Okay, so when we talk about your cash inflows, we are speaking about making sure that you have enough cash inflows, right? So that Navy Fed will look into your situation and say, you know, this person is not in financial straits. Okay, this is important. Now, everything starts with saving. Son, daughter, grandpa, grandma, I'm talking to you. Father, dad, mom, I'm talking to you. The whole thing here is to be in a situation where you are saving consistently and continually, right? And obviously, your pocketbook is not going to be transformed into, let's say, a Fortunata's purse overnight. No, you know, it takes longer. But what we care about here is what? We care about the process. We care about a mechanism that allows you to gradually save, okay? And so if you want to actually have a massive limit immediately on this card, make sure that you show consistent cash flows. Make sure that you have direct deposit. If you don't have direct deposit, it's going to, I think it's going to lower your chances. It's going to reduce your chances of being approved, okay? If you have low pay, in other words, even if you have bad credit or fair credit, make sure your income is sufficient, okay? Make sure you have a decent level of savings, okay? So what I'm talking about here is what? I'm talking about you having a savings account, you having a CD if possible, you having a certificate of deposits, you having a money market account. You don't have to have all these accounts, but as long as you have one or two, okay? And the whole thing is, it's not about the quantity of account. It's not a quantity of accounts that you have. It's about the quality. It's about the money you keep in there. As I said before, your pocketbook is not going to be transformed into a Fortunata's purse overnight, but it takes resilience. It takes persistence to get to that Fortunata's purse. Okay, make sure that you beef up your relationship with Navy Fed. And I've said this before, this is important. We want to open at least 2 accounts. We want to open a savings account and a checking accounts at a minimum. Boss, uncle, are you there? Aunt, are you there? So this is what it is. This is what you have. So money, 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 money. If you are trying to get a massive limits immediately on the Navy Federal Platinum, when you actually apply, make sure you have a decent cash flow position. It's not about making 6 digits a year. It's about your savings ability. Okay, this is about your savings ability. Let's talk about your FICO score. This is another hack that you have to actually pay attention to. Okay, son, daughter, I know that you are trying hard. You're trying hard to raise your FICO score every day. And I appreciate that. But I want you to do more. Okay? I want you to understand that I want you to be in a situation where you monitor your FICO score regularly. See, regularly. So regularity is really important. Not 6 months from now, not every 6 months, not twice a year, not 3 times a year, not 4 times a year, not every, I don't know. I want you to do it if you can every week. If you cannot, do it every 2 weeks. It's very important to be in a situation where you are basically on the right path. Okay? Dad, mom, grandpa, Grandma, I just beg you, okay? You need to understand your FICO score is important. FICO score is really important, okay? And the whole thing here is that you want to monitor it regularly. So if you catch any let's say any inaccuracies, any derogatory items, somebody trying to charge something on your card, and you know this is not you, okay? You have a collection account that you don't recognize. You have whatever it is. You know, sometimes you can be, I think you can be a victim of identity theft. There is a constellation of situations that can happen to your credit score, and they are adversarial to you. So the whole thing here is to be in a situation where you can spot it. You can spot whatever blunder, whatever mistake is on your credit report and fix it. Okay. So it's really important. Do you have a low FICO score, son? Do you have a low Navy Fed internal score, daughter? I just want you to know that you have to find solutions here. And how do you raise either score? First of all, your payment history. Your payment history is really important. It accounts for 35% of your FICO score. So you want to really make sure that you have that. Your credit utilization ratio, I'll speak about that in the next section, but this is really important. You want to lower that as well, okay? You have to actually apply for credit cards strategically. You have to space out your credit card applications, okay? You can't just go around and just apply for credit cards every now and then. I mean, people, you know, and the whole thing is people telling you to apply for several credit cards in a day. I'm here to tell you, son, it does not work. Don't you listen to myths. Don't you listen to fairy tales. Don't you listen to people telling you can apply for credit cards for 2 or 3 or 4 credit cards within a short period of time and you should be fine. It does not work. They are telling you lies, okay? And you can take it from our team, we have more than 30 years of experience in this game, not only at the Navy Fed level, but also in credit in general. We have seen it all. People talking to you about Navy Fed, midnight hack. You know, there are a lot of fairy tales out there, and I want you to really segregate reality from myth. Okay, so big decision time, boss. Big decision time. Make sure that you monitoring your FICO score often. You want to be in that situation right now. Very important. The fourth thing I want to talk to you about is your utilization. Okay, this is really important that we actually you want to reduce your CUR. This is important. I mean, you know, a lot of folks just people walk around and say, well, you know, I'm making a lot of money, so my CUR is not, I don't have to reduce it because I'm actually, I'm earning a lot, so I should be fine. You know, anybody who says that, son, anybody who says that, I want you to tell them that they are not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Oh yeah, like my old people used to say, they're not the sharpest knife in the drawer because what they're telling you is wrong. You want to reduce your CUR continually and systematically, okay? Because if you are trying to get a massive limit on the Navy Federal Platinum card, you need to have a low CUR. And because a high CUR could actually signal financial trouble later on. You have to understand that Navy Fed continually monitors their members' financial profiles. So if they see that you are having, let's say your CUR is in 50%, 60%, that's really bad. That's really bad. Okay. So son, I just want you to stop having too many expenses. I don't care what you're doing right now, but I just want to tell you that, hey, listen, hey, I love you. But at the same time, I'm here to tell you, you are on the wrong path if you continually have high CUR, have high credit utilization ratio. You are keeping high balances on your credit card. What's up with that? Why are you trying to live with it? Why are you trying to live beyond your means? You're trying to, you know, people talk about fake it till you make it. But in this situation, it does not apply. Don't you listen to this. This is adversarial to your financial future. You want to live within your means, okay? And the cool thing we get to understand is that if you are just paying the minimum due on your revolving credit products, this is not good. Your ideal CUR should be around 30 to 35%, but we love less than 30%. That's what we love. Okay, so here is the approach. The approach for you is to pay your credit cards and other revolving lines of credit more than once a month. Okay, you can pay it once a week. You can pay small balances once a week or twice a week. So that way you will actually reduce your CUR. I mean, if you are in a situation where you can pay the full balance, do it. This is even better. Okay, do it right away. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another session of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about the best way, the best strategy to get the Navy Federal Platinum card. We want to get a high limit immediately, okay? And now I want to talk to you about your income. See, when we talk about income, we are not just speaking about your 9 to 5, a pay from 9 to 5. We are speaking about your side gigs. We are speaking about the constellation of things you do to produce legit income. Legit income, very important, okay? And you have to understand, the thing is, sometimes people are surprised when they say, well, I don't have a good FICO score. My financial ratings, quote unquote financial ratings, are shaky, but I still get approved. And we always tell them, hey, listen, if you don't have a high FICO score, but you have a great relationship with Navy Fed and you have good income, chances are you are going to be approved with a high limit for the Navy Federal Platinum card or any other credit card for that matter. So it's really important to pay attention to your cash inflows. This is what I was talking about earlier, but income is more than the cash inflows, because you could be making a lot of money and not having decent savings, okay? It's important. So you want to get decent income. I'm talking about having a day job, and you want to show Navy Fed that you have a job. And I want to insist on the legit job thing, because they are going to verify your employment, and they are going to verify your employer. So they're going to verify your employer and your employment. Okay, so those are really important. So you want to have a letter of verification from HR, the HR at the HR department in your company, and you want to make sure that you have a strong job employment history. What am I talking about? Job employment. You want to have a strong employment history, a strong job history. Okay, so this is really important. Now, if you also want to boost your chances of getting a high limit on this credit card, hey, think about investments. I mean, investments are not just about, let's say, your future financial work, your future financial life. It's also for now, because it's going to add up to your net worth. It's going to add up to your assets. And when your assets are up, everything else held constant, your net worth will also go up. Okay, so those are really important. So money. What are you doing now, boss? What are you doing now to increase and diversify your sources of income? Are you generating enough cash? Are you generating enough, I would say, direct deposit of cash flows into your Navy Fed accounts? What is your situation right now? Are you in financial straits? If you are, what are the measures you have taken to remedy that situation? I want to talk to you now about your DTI ratio. This is another thing that Navy Fed, they actually pay attention a lot to this. This is really important. Now, one thing I want to say here is that when we talk about DTI, there is something that is very important that we call in our research, we call expense fitness. So fitness of expense. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, let's say this is important for those who are in relationships. Dad, mom, grandpa, grandma, uncle, nephew. I mean, if you are in a relationship, if you are in a household, you have children, you have relatives, you have whatever, make sure that your personal goals when it comes to debt to income are in synergy with the goals of your relationship, your household, your family. This is really important, because if there is a dichotomy, if there is a conflict of interest, if you're trying to lower your DTI and your household or your spouse, it doesn't understand what you are trying to do, this could actually signal trouble, financial trouble down the road. Okay, so we are trying to stay away from that. So when we talk about DTI, we are speaking about debt to income ratio. We are speaking about you taking your total debt payments and dividing that by your income. And normally you want to be around, and by your gross income though. This is not your net income. Okay, this is your pre-tax income. And what we want to be in a situation where we basically have a CUR, and a DTI that are around 30% or below. The lower, the better. So when we talk about CUR, we talk about DTI. The lower, the better. Very important, okay? Because if you have a low DTI, that means that you are, all things held constant though, that means that you are in financial, you're in a decent financial shape, okay? So you want to avoid high debt, definitely. This is really important. You definitely want to beef up your income, because the high debt and low income is the worst case scenario for your DTI. Because think about it, you have your income at the bottom of the fraction, as the denominator, and you have the debt at the top of the fraction as the numerator. So if you have high debt and you have low income, your DTI is going to go up. This is just mathematical, okay? And this is really something you want to avoid. So again, for the DTI, we want to be below 30%. So big decision time, boss. Big decision time. What are you doing now to reduce your DTI? Are your goals in synergy with your spouse's goals? Are your goals in tandem with in unison with your household's goals? Those are really important. Okay, so here is the end of today's conversation. I was just talking to you about how to get the Navy Federal Platinum card, how to get a massive limit immediately. Okay, so I'll give you an overview of the card itself. I spoke to you about NFCU Recency, your cash inflows, your FICO Score, your utilization, your income, and your debt to income. Thank you so much for your attention. God bless you. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.